Welcome. I'm Louis Lowe. I'm a Silicon Valley lawyer, and I help companies get foreign finance scaled for growth. Most of my clients are technology or life sciences companies. And welcome to my new video blog YouTube channel on Ask a Silicon Valley Lawyer. Today is number one, our very first video blog. Please subscribe to the channel. Please feel free to add comments or experiences in the areas below, and we'll have a great time sharing information and getting to know each other. A word about where we're coming to you from today. We're in South Park, an eponymous urban neighborhood in south of Market in San Francisco, where all the venture capital firms have moved to over the last 2.5 years. As recently as 5 years ago, all the VCs were on Sand Hill Road in Menlo Park. Today, they're all in South Park in San Francisco. This very first video blog, series number one, we want to talk about how to find the right startup lawyer for you. Choosing the right lawyer for you is one of the most important decisions that you can make as a startup entrepreneur or as the CEO of a scaling technology or life science business. The right lawyer for you may not be the same at formation stage as it is when you're about to raise money, as it is when you're poised for an exit or an IPO. Whether you're launching a new venture, pivoting to reposition your current business, or you're on the precipice of a bet the company transaction, finding the right lawyer for you is a critical next step in your journey. Sometimes the best lawyer is the person you've known for years, the person you trust, the person that answers your calls on Saturday night at midnight. Sometimes, however, it's somebody that's referred to you by a trusted business partner who has the specific skills and expertise you need for that specific situation. Your need for the right lawyer for you starts very early in the process. Right when you're conceiving of your idea is when you need a lawyer the most. When you then put your team together, when you're selecting the right corporate entity for you, these are all decisions that you should be making with your lawyer. One question I often get is, how do I think about raising my first round of outside capital? First answer is, are you ready? The first thing you ought to be doing is moving that product to some minimal viable status so that you have something to show. The person that's going to finance that is not an institution. It's not a venture capital firm, most likely. It's probably your own savings, your friends, your family. Once you get that minimal viable product, or MVP, then you're in a situation where you can think about angel investors, maybe a CEO who sold a company in that same vertical who's very interested in the technology that you have or the market that you're looking to develop or disrupt. What is the right instrument that you should use for that moment in time that you're raising capital? When you're first raising money, it is the absolute worst time to value your business because you have no revenue, no minimum viable product. So the last thing you want to do is sell a price round of equity. So you're probably going to look to one of two instruments, either a convertible note or a SAFE. A convertible note is a traditional instrument that requires you to pay back the money at some date in the future, a maturity date. It has an interest rate and it has a conversion rate, and sometimes it has a cap on value. About 6 years ago, Y Combinator, a very hot accelerator here in the San Francisco Bay Area, developed an alternative for founders called a simple agreement for future equity. And it tried to solve the problem of the maturity date in the convertible note and the conversion. And so there is no maturity date in a SAFE. So it isn't equity, it isn't debt. You don't have to have a valuation. It converts into that future round of equity that you raise from venture capital at some point in the future at some agreed discount rate. Maybe it's 20%, maybe it's 50%, maybe it's 10%, all depending on the circumstances, and your lawyer can tell you when and why. Even before you go to capitalize your business, you've got to be thinking about what intellectual property you'll be creating and how will you protect it. Should you go out and get a provisional patent before you speak to a potential co-founder or first investor? Will you be needing a trademark? Will the trademark match your domain name? Is that available? Who else has it? How can you get it? These are all questions that a lawyer should be able to talk through with you, understand, and give you basic advice on, no matter where they come from. Finding the right lawyer starts with a general corporate lawyer who has a firm or access to all of the other pieces that you're going to need to get off the ground. So does your lawyer have a patent colleague? Is there a trademark lawyer in the firm? Is there an employment lawyer? Is there a finance lawyer? Is there a tax lawyer? Is there a litigator? These are all pieces that you're going to need as you grow your business. And you want to make sure that you're going with a group of people or a firm that have what you're going to need. Following are some more specific things that I think really should help you on your journey to finding the right lawyer. First is, how do you get connected? If you make a direct email to a lawyer yourself that you don't know, oftentimes you're not going to get a response. If you do, how do you know that that person really is a good fit for you? The best thing to do is to get a warm introduction from somebody that you know that knows that lawyer. Same with investors. We all are very busy. We're all inundated with requests. And so even the busiest lawyers, if they get a warm introduction from somebody they know and trust that you're somebody that they should meet, chances are they're going to take that meeting. First thing that you're looking for in that meeting with that lawyer that you've set up, what is their bandwidth and availability? How many clients do they have? In what industry verticals? In what geographies? Does it fit? Do they have a conflict? Are they already representing one of your competitors? These are all things that go into the mix. Personal fit. Is this somebody you're going to be comfortable calling on Saturday at 11 o'clock at night with that problem that's keeping you from sleeping? It needs to be. Bandwidth and availability. Your first interactions with that lawyer should tell you, do they return their phone calls promptly? Do they return their emails promptly? Do they set up a meeting right away or a call? Do they have a team of people that are going to be able to service your account? Do they have a paralegal? Do they have a young lawyer right out of law school or recently out of law school? What do the rates look like? Will they do project billing for you? These are all questions that I would ask in that very first meeting, and that really would form an impression of whether that lawyer has the bandwidth and the availability to serve you. The next question I would ask is about their experience and the experience of their colleagues in their firm. What is their experience and what is their enthusiasm? The right lawyer for your business probably has a lot of experience working with other technology or life science companies in your geography at your relative stage of growth, whether it's formation or Series C financing or whether you're looking to exit. They have represented other companies like yours. That's the first thing. On the flip side, do they have a conflict? Are they already representing the company that you're trying to disrupt? Ask them. They'll tell you. Enthusiasm. What is their level of enthusiasm? Are they excited to be with you? Are they excited about the technology that you have? Are they excited about the industry that you're looking to disrupt? These are all things that come through in a face-to-face meeting, which you owe to yourself to have before you make a selection as important as this. Expertise. This is important. Whoever you select ought to be somebody who knows about the industry that you're looking to disrupt or that you're looking to break into. They should know the relevant statutes, the relevant cases. They should know who the players are. They should really be experts in what they do. The other thing you ought to be looking for is network. Before you even take that meeting, a basic LinkedIn search will show you the number of mutual contacts that you have. Dig into them a little bit. How relevant are they? Are they to other companies in your sub-vertical, in your area, in your stage of growth? Is this lawyer you're going to meet a big company guy or a startup guy? And then in a follow-up, you can ask them to come back to you with references. CEOs of other companies that they've represented in various stages of growth. How quickly do those references get back to you? How enthusiastic are they? These are all great ways to assess someone's network, a critical piece of whether that lawyer is the right one for you. An important aspect of selecting the right lawyer for you, unfortunately, relates to fees. If you're looking to do a formation, you should be able to get a quote of somewhere between $2,500 and $5,000 to do a solid and complete and thorough job to form your new business entity and to give you all of the forms you're going to need to get off the ground. If you're a company in hypergrowth scale mode, you need to be working with a lawyer who's willing to do project billing. That means that before you give them a task, they're willing to scope out a detailed scope of work and put a quote on it, whether it's a cap or a budget, but they're willing to work on a project basis. That's really important. Finally, if you're at exit stage and you're looking to do a sale of the company or an IPO, you're going to need a really detailed quote because those kinds of matters can get very expensive, and the person that you should be working with should be somebody who's willing to work with you, who understands what your fee constraints are, and so that you really have a meeting of the minds on what fees should be. Lots of people ask me whether lawyers should be working for equity, whether they should take stock in lieu of cash. I would tell you that 10 or 15 years ago, most of us would take a point or two of equity or a warrant. At this stage, that's really monopoly money. What matters to us is that we have the ability to invest and that we have the ability to participate on the upside just alongside you. So as you're interviewing a lawyer, ask them, do they invest in their clients? How much? What is the form of equity that they take? And so most lawyers will invest somewhere between $10,000 and $25,000, usually in the form of a convertible note or a safe if you're at startup stage, or if you're at hypergrowth scale stage, they'll take a $25,000 or $50,000 slug of your next round of preferred equity at the same price as all of the other investors, and that way they're aligned. All of this is going to come together, and it's going to give you a feeling in your gut about who the right person is for you. Don't ignore that. That's a really important piece of the fit. Thanks very much for listening. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me on my website, L2Counsel.com. It's very simple. And my email is louis.leo@L2Counsel.com. My phone number is 650-796-7280. Feel free to reach out anytime or make a comment down below. Give us your feedback. What other things would you like me to talk about? Subscribe to the channel. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you very much.